So you've embarked on the self-healing journey, but you're feeling some kind of way about it. You don't feel like things are changing quickly enough. You feel like you might be stuck. You may even be considering whether this whole thing is some made up gig by some man behind a curtain pulling some strings. Well, I'm here to tell you that the self-healing journey is real and that you have everything inside of you that you need to heal. The key is to learn the tools and techniques to apply to your life so that you can start healing your inner world to attract and create a better outer world. My name is Kristen Brown. I'm a self-love mastery and relationship healing author, mentor, and speaker. And today I want to talk to you guys about the often overlooked superpower that we have inside that can guide us on our self-healing journey. The healing journey is often up and down and sideways and backwards and forwards and stops and starts and 4 steps forward and 1 step back. It's not going to be perfect and it's not always going to be smooth. But I want you to commend yourself because you've actually gotten started. And that is something that many, many people never even try. And in this video today, I want to give you one of my all-time favorite self-healing tools and techniques that I use that I was not taught, that I figured out along the way and then was later substantiated by other teachers in the world. And I want to share this with you today because I want you to start feeling better faster. We have many systems within our human body. We have the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, the neurological system, the skeletal system, the reproductive system, and the systems go on and on. But there's one system that people aren't talking about enough, and that is the emotional guidance system. Once we can understand what our emotions are and what they are trying to teach us, we can grow, heal, shift, evolve in the most miraculous way. Because there has not been a lot of emphasis on our emotions in the past, this is really something that's starting to come to light right now, which I'm so grateful for, especially for men, because so many men are not allowed to feel, and men have so much repressed emotions and anger and depression and sadness, and we've kind of ignored the men in our world, and we need not do that. And I'm hoping that this video not only reaches the females out in the world, but also the men, but also for the females to be able to help their men. Now, that's not why I made this video, so I'm not going to go off on that. What it is that I want to teach you guys is how to take your emotions and use them as a self-healing tool. I call this one of the greatest superpowers we have. And once you learn to implement this, you are going to notice a peace and freedom, empowerment, confidence, these type of things coming into your life that you've never felt before. Now, with any tool or technique, they don't work if we don't use them. So the key is for you to sit down, grab a piece of paper and pen, take notes on this video, and really think about what I'm sharing with you today. I don't share anything with you all that I have not practiced myself and don't continue to practice on the regular. So when these things come up for me, I whip out one of my tools and I get to working on it. Now, the self-healing journey to me is never over because there's new experiences and situations that come into our life, which create wounds inside of us or a certain pattern of thinking inside of us. So this is something that we're going to continue to do throughout our life. However, we can become more adept at doing it. And that's where it starts to get really fun because when you see things are working, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to do this more. So let me talk to you real quickly about what the emotional guidance system is. So we have a thought that comes into our mind. That thought releases a chemical in our brain, and that becomes emotion. Likely, when we have an emotion, then we're going to seek more thoughts that substantiate this emotion, which is going to release more chemicals in the brain, and then we get stuck in a particular emotion. But here's what I want you to know. Emotions are just information. They are just guideposts to help lead you on your journey. And once you recognize what the emotion is, you name the emotion, you feel the emotion through, and then you start to ask yourselves questions regarding the emotion and listening for the answers and then acting upon those answers, you are going to find yourself healing in the most remarkable way. So right now, I'd like to give you a couple examples of this. Let's say that you are feeling abandoned. What is the feeling of abandonment? You feel like you're alone. You feel like nobody cares. You feel like you don't matter. So if I am feeling the feeling of abandonment, nobody cares about me, I'm alone, I don't matter. I take that information and I say to myself, how can I rectify this? How can I rectify that I'm feeling alone and like I don't matter without going out into the outside world and make somebody else responsible for my emotion? I will go within and say, I need to make myself matter. I need to tend to my own needs. I will return that abandonment feeling back to myself, and I will say, it is me who is in charge of me, and I am my number one priority. Let's say the emotion you're feeling is frustration. Frustration means to me that something that I'm doing is not working, that I'm continuing to do the same thing over and over again, and I'm not getting the results. So when I'm starting to feel really frustrated, I go within and I ask myself, Kristen, why are you frustrated? Because I'm trying to do this and I'm not getting the results. So there's a couple of things that I do with frustration. First of all, I give myself grace and compassion. And the second thing I do is to change up what I'm doing. If I'm repeatedly doing this thing and I'm not getting the results I want, that means that that's not working and I need to do something else. So in order to relieve the feeling of frustration inside of me, I put that power back into my own hands and I say, what can I do differently so that I stop feeling frustrated? Now, let's say I'm feeling something like anger. Let's say the anger emotion comes in. And these are just examples that I'm sharing with you all. This doesn't mean that it's going to be exactly this way for you, but it's really important that you recognize the emotion so you can name it and then start to ask it questions. So let's say I'm using the example of anger. Okay, I'm really, really angry. Somebody really did me wrong. What does anger mean to me? Anger means that there's an injustice that has happened, that there's something not cool that has happened, that me or somebody else is being treated poorly. So I ask myself, okay, I'm really, really angry at this person right now. What is this telling me? And what it's typically telling me is that I need to set a boundary or I need to practice forgiveness. And so when I either set a boundary or start to practice forgiveness, what happens is, once again, I am released from the toxicity of that anger. Many times people get in a state like anger, for example, and they just want to stay angry. They want to repeat the story. They want to repeat the injustice. They want to repeat the perpetration, whatever it was, over and over and over again. They want to stay stuck in this story. I personally don't like the feeling of anger, and I know that that's keeping me stuck because I'm repeating the same scenario. And if I want to have an improved experience, then I need to change my trajectory. I'm going to have to change my thinking. So I look at anger as only an emotion, only a guidepost, only something that is trying to give me some information, and that I apply something to it. Whatever information it's giving me, I apply an answer or an antidote to that. And I'll give you one more example. Let's say a person is feeling overwhelmed. Okay, what does overwhelmment mean to me? When I go within, it means I have too much to do and not enough time to do it. I'm going to let people down. I'm going to drop the ball. Something like this is going to happen. So overwhelmed can be a very anxiety feeling to me, and it can almost make me freeze because I have too much going on. So when I get the feelings of overwhelmment now, what I do is I slow down and I get really present in the present moment. I actually stop. I will stop doing everything. People are like, oh, you got all this stuff going on and you stop. Yes, because all this stuff is going on, but what my mind is doing with it is making me crazy, which means I'm going to try to show up to each situation in just little pieces and parts of myself, not my whole self, because I feel like there's too much to get done. So I slow down, and most often I stop. I stop and I say, okay, you're overwhelmed. What is this telling you? It's telling you you have attachment to these things. It's telling you that there's not enough time in the day. It's telling you, I'm talking about, that you're trying to control how life happens. So I back up and I write, okay, I'm going to write myself a list. And I make a list of all the things that are going on inside of me that are causing this overwhelmment. Then I go down through the list and I pick my top 3. What are the priorities? And I put a 1, a 2, and a 3 next to them. Then I go down through the list some more and I'm like, okay, do these have any particular order? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I move those 3 to the top and I focus only on those things. See what I'm saying, everyone? The powerhouse of your emotional guidance system is trying to tell you something. All you need to do is to take that emotion that is rising up inside of you and say, I feel this. I'm going to feel this emotion through. I'm not going to bypass it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to push it aside, which we are often taught to do. I'm going to go within. I'm going to say, all right, I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling frustration, sadness, overwhelm, whatever it might be for you. Sit with that emotion for a minute And then say, what is this emotion trying to tell me or trying to teach me? Get really open and honest with yourself. Apply what you are learning, and you're going to watch your self-healing catapult through the roof. And I cannot wait to hear how this works for you. If you enjoyed what you heard here today, I really hope that you give me a really big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with someone you love. And I always love to read your comments. So thank you for commenting below. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and to turn on notifications. And I look forward to talking to you all next time. So until then, remember, you matter. Now go love yourself.